So you're launching a new website. That's fantastic. But getting it to actually show up on Google, well, that doesn't happen by accident. Today, we're going to walk through the complete SEO checklist to build a rock-solid foundation, making sure your site gets discovered right from day one.
It's a story I hear all the time. Someone builds a beautiful site, they pour their heart and soul into it, they hit publish, and then crickets. This usually happens because some really critical SEO steps were missed before or during the launch, leaving Google kind of blind to your new content. But we're going to fix that today. All right, so here's our game plan. We'll start with the pre-launch foundations. Then we'll dive into the technical side of things. After that, it's all about content and on-page SEO. Then we'll look at what's happening with modern search, and finally, we'll put together a solid plan for your launch and beyond.
First up, pre-launch foundations. A lot of people think the work starts when you hit publish, but honestly, some of the most important SEO work you'll ever do happens before anyone else even sees your site. Getting this stage right saves you from massive headaches down the road.
Okay, first things first, you need one clean domain, and it absolutely has to be secured with HTTPS. Then, take a little time to plan a simple, logical site structure. Just think of it like a clear, easy-to-read map for both your visitors and for search engines. And before you even think about launching, connect Google Search Console and Google Analytics. And finally, make sure your core pages, your homepage, about page, contact page, are polished and ready to go. Next, let's talk about technical SEO. The best way to think about this is like the formal handshake between your website and Google. It's all about making sure that search engines can find, crawl, and really understand your content without any friction.
A huge part of that handshake is your XML sitemap. What it is, really, is just a map of all your important pages that you hand directly to Google. And Google themselves have said this is especially helpful for brand new sites that don't have a lot of other websites linking to them yet. It just helps them discover all your great content so much faster.
Now, this is where a lot of people get tripped up, so it's super important to understand the difference. Your robots.txt file is like a bouncer at a club. It tells search engine bots which rooms they're allowed to go into. But if you want a page kept out of the search results entirely, you need a no-index tag. And mixing these two up, that can have some really big unintended consequences.
Okay, let's cover 3 more really critical tech checks. First, use clean, descriptive URLs. They help everyone understand what the page is about at a quick glance. Second, use canonical tags to avoid duplicate content issues. They basically tell Google, hey, this is the one true version of this page. And finally, and listen up because this one is non-negotiable, your site has to be mobile first. Google literally ranks your site based on its mobile version now, so that experience has to be absolutely seamless.
And speaking of that user experience, that brings us right to something called Core Web Vitals. These are basically Google's metrics for measuring how good the experience on your page actually is. And a good experience is now a huge part of good SEO.
So what are they? Well, LCP is all about loading speed. How fast does the main content show up? INP is about interactivity. When you click a button, does the site respond right away? And CLS is about visual stability. When you try to click on something but the page jumps around and you tap the wrong thing, that's what CLS measures. At the end of the day, Google is just asking, is your site fast, responsive, and stable?
All right, now that we've got the technical foundation solid, we can get into the fun stuff, on-page SEO. This is where we focus on the content itself and send crystal clear signals to Google about what each and every page is really about.
And if there's one golden rule here, it's this. Every single page on your site needs to have one clear job, one specific search intent. For instance, a blog post about how to choose a blender is informational. A product page for the Super Blend 3000 is commercial. If you try to do both on one page, you just end up confusing everyone. That focus is everything.
So how do you signal that focus? Well, it's through these key elements. Think of your title tag and meta description as your free ad in the search results. Make it count. Your headings, like your H1s and H2s, create a logical outline for people and for Google. Your image alt text makes your visuals accessible and helps them rank. And of course, the actual content, the body copy, has to be genuinely helpful and well-written.
And this right here, this quote absolutely nails the power of internal linking. When you connect your pages with relevant links, you do 2 powerful things. You guide your users to other helpful content, and you help spread that ranking authority across your entire site. You're basically making the whole site stronger, instead of having a few strong pages and a bunch of weak, isolated ones.
Okay, let's shift gears a little and talk about the future, which is actually right now.
Search isn't just a list of 10 blue links anymore. We have to prepare our content for AI overviews, for answer engines, for voice assistants. And what that means for us is that the structure of our content is more important than it has ever been.
So how do you actually do that? Well, it's pretty straightforward. Start using headings that are phrased like questions. Put a short, direct answer to that question right there at the top. Use structured data or schema. Think of it like adding little info tags to your content so machines can understand it instantly. And finally, build out topic clusters, where you have one big pillar page supported by lots of smaller, related articles.
All right, so the site is built, it's optimized, it's ready to go. But the work doesn't stop when you hit that publish button. Not even close. Now we need a plan for what happens after launch, because SEO is an ongoing process of tweaking, improving, and growing.
You know, a huge part of success is just knowing what pitfalls to avoid. These are 4 of the most common mistakes people make when they launch. Forgetting to set up Search Console. That's like trying to fly a plane blind. Accidentally blocking your own site from Google? Yep, it happens. Publishing pages with almost no content? That's a huge red flag. And ignoring the mobile experience? That's just not an option anymore. The good news, every single one of these is completely avoidable.
Look, ongoing SEO can feel overwhelming, right? So let's break it down into a simple 30, 60, 90-day plan. In that first month, just focus on a clean launch and verifying everything with Google. In month 2, start looking at your data to optimize and improve what you've got. And then in month 3, you can start expanding your content and refreshing older stuff.
Whew, okay. We have covered a ton of ground, so let's boil it all down to the absolute essentials. This last section is your priority checklist. These are the must-do actions that are going to have the biggest impact on your new site.
Seriously, if you are short on time and can only do 5 things, these are the 5. 1. Set up Google Search Console. 2. Create and submit that XML sitemap. 3. Double, then triple check that your most important pages can actually be indexed by Google. 4. Absolutely nail the mobile experience. And 5. Build those first foundational internal links to tie your site together.
And really, that brings us to the whole point of this. All of this work you do up front. It isn't just a bunch of tasks to check off for launch day. It's a massive investment in your website's future. Building this strong SEO foundation from day one is what sets you up for sustainable, long-term growth.
So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Is your new website just built to be seen, or is it built to be found? Because having a site that looks great is one thing, but having a site that's actually found by the right people at the right time, well, that's a whole different ballgame. And there you go. That's the blueprint for launching a website that really works for you. We've covered the high-level strategy here, and the full source article has all the nitty-gritty details. Use it as your working checklist, follow the steps, and you can turn that potential launch day silence into real, sustainable growth.